Hello everyone, I'm Hoàng Bắc. It's been a little more than 6 months since I had my fair share of opportunity to take virtual remote vacation in my town of Ho Chi Minh City. Last time my university permitted me to document one of the many well-known destinations of my choosing here in the city. It's no different today as I've been assigned again to make a video log of any three museums that I preferred in the city. As such, I've singled out these three prominent museums of Ho Chi Minh City that I'm going to introduce to you in this video. Behind me is Bến Nhà Rồng, which will be the first location for today. I remember back when I used to regularly drop in the Botany of Ho Chi Minh, which is called Ho Chi Minh City's Youth Cultural House, and for the Nguyễn Huệ, which is called Nguyễn Huệ Pedestrian Boulevard. I caught sight of the building quite a lot when moving back and forth. There was also one time in high school. I was during 2020 or 2021 when I was an 11th grader when my literature teacher took my class out to the museum on an educated trip. So you can see this place is all too familiar to me. I may have digressed there, sorry everyone. The Bến Nhà Rồng is located at 1 Nguyễn Tất Thành Street, Ward 12, District 4, Ho Chi Minh City. This is simultaneously a historical site and a museum situated next to Saigon River of District 4. It marks the day Ho Chi Minh, who was formerly known as Nguyễn Tất Thành, left Vietnam on a French ship on June 5, 1911, so that he might deliver his country from colonialism with the knowledge accumulated from his journeys around the world. The museum, previously a port, has become a hub for educating about our nation's proud history of revolt, the moralistic ideologies, and a noble, lifelong dedication to political activism of President Ho Chi Minh. This place has amassed millions of visitors, inland and foreign visitors included. Particularly, hundreds of heads of state from many countries have paid a visit here to study about President Ho Chi Minh. Chào bạn, có thể cho mình một phút để bạn có cảm nhận gì khi thăm ở đây?
Nói thật lòng thì đây là đầu tiên mình đến với Hồ Chí Minh, thì thông qua đây thì mình đã đi từng cái chủ đề, từng cái căn phòng, thì mình có thể quan sát được những cái tư liệu lịch sử của dân tộc. Làm một cái siêu liên thì đây coi như là một cái lòng thành kính tỏ bày đến những cái hình ảnh của chiến tranh để làm. Mình cảm thấy rất là vui vì mình được đi và tham quan, đồng thời mình có thể đọc được và rút ra những cái bài học kinh nghiệm của mình.
The second museum we come to visit today is Tôn Đức Thắng Museum, located at 5 Tôn Đức Thắng Street, Bến Nghé Hòa, District 1 of Ho Chi Minh City. Tôn Đức Thắng Museum was built to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Tôn Đức Thang's birth, August 20th, 1888, August 20th, 1988. The museum was constructed to meet the demand for discovering and studying about President Tôn on behalf of our nation's population as a whole. The population of Southern Vietnam, specifically the most particular the residents of Ho Chi Minh City, because President Tôn, the prodigious son of the people of Southern Vietnam, the distinguished worker of the working class and working citizens of Saigon, Chợ Lớn, is a role model, the pride of Southern Vietnam's resolute citizenry. As a museum for a personage, Tôn Đức Thắng Museum is the only location in the entire country to present thoroughly and systematically the life and career of President Tôn Đức Thắng. In 1935, while the revolutionary struggle of Chinese people was taking place fervently in Guangzhou, Western imperialist countries plotted to intervene. The French Navy participated in the campaign with a fleet consisting of 3 warships, Jules Ferry, Le Main, and Jules Michelet. On this way, Jules Michelet was broken down and brought to Bassong for repair. Uncle Tom informed the members of the Bassong Workers' Union and discussed the methods to struggle. Under Uncle Tom's direction, a strike leadership committee was formed to solve all matters, including Congress Le Van Lương, Nguyễn Văn Nghi, also called Ba Nghi, Tăng Văn Tú, and later Nguyễn Văn Nam. On August 4, 1925, Ba Song workers began their historic strike with demands for a 20% wage increase, a 30-minute break on the paydays, and the reinstatement of dismissed workers. The strike of Ba Song workers, led by Uncle Tom, prolonged the repair time of the warship Michelin and achieved complete victory after nearly 4 months of persistent, resolute, skillful, and creative struggle. This was the first major strike by workers in Cochin China and the whole country at that time. The impact of the struggle extended beyond national borders and reached the global proletarian and workers' revolutionary movement. On the occasion of the 136th birthday anniversary of President Tôn Đức Thắng, August 20th, 1888, August 20th, 2024, and towards the 100th anniversary of Ba Song Traditional Day, August 4th, 1925, August 4th, 2025. Tôn Đức Thắng Museum cooperated with Ba Song Corporation to carry out the thematic exhibition Ba Song Timeline. With nearly 180 documents and artifacts, the exhibition will provide an overview of the formation and development process of Ba Song, thereby helping the public understand the development of the shipbuilding industry, the Ba Song workers' movement, and the cause of national liberation, especially the role of President Tôn Đức Thắng. The third museum we'll be covering today is the Ho Chi Minh Museum of History, also known as the Vietnam Museum of History. It is a must-see for visitors interested in Vietnamese history. Visiting this place, you will experience the feeling of traveling through time to different stages in the process of building, existing, and developing the country, with some more than 40,000 historical artifacts on display. The museum was established on August 23, 1979. This is the place to collect and preserve the unique cultural heritage of our nation from the time of the 18 King Hong's founding of the country. The museum is located at 2 Nguyễn Bỉnh Khiêm Street, Bến Nghé World, District 1. This is a place to store, preserve, and display tens of thousands of valuable artifacts collected at home and abroad, located at the center of Saigon. The way to the Ho Chi Minh City Museum of History is quite easy. You can completely use personal vehicles, buses, or cab, or taxi. The Vietnam History Museum is located inside the zoo on the left side and opposite the Hồng King's Temple. In front of the museum is a large and always windy courtyard. The entire building is built in the ancient Indo-Chinese architectural style, with two-tiled roofs and decorated with stylized phoenix and dragon motifs. Vietnam is a multinational state consisting of 54 ethnic groups. Among them, the Viet-Cong people constitute the majority with more than 85% of the population. The smallest groups being the Roma, Rao, and Odu, less than 500 people. According to 2009 General Census, the community of Vietnamese ethnic groups was founded and developed simultaneously with a 1,000-year historical course of construction and defense, thus creating a unified Vietnamese people. Each ethnic group with its own unique cultural nuance brought the diversity, variety, distinction, and helped building Vietnamese cultural identity. Historically, in the southern area from Quảng Bình and Cà Mau provinces was the inhabiting area of people who spoke Austro-Asiatic and Austronesian languages. Since the 16th century, Vietnamese and Chinese immigrants have arrived here, colonizing and prospering in this land. After 1975, due to the need of socio-economic development, the distribution of population has dramatically changed, in which numerous groups of North Vietnamese peoples have migrated and settled in the south. The display room cultures of Southern Vietnam ethnic groups introduces some traditional cultural features of Southern Vietnam peoples. So what do you think of Ho Chi Minh City and Vietnamese people so far?
So far, I arrived 3 days ago, and so far, very good. People are very kind, they're very friendly, and I like the culture, I like the food, the Vietnamese food. And I found people that, like you, stop me in the street and want to practice the English and want to talk to me. So it's nice to have that exchange for me because I can't speak Vietnamese. So the only way to know about you is if you talk in English. So yeah, very good. So far, very good. Yeah, I like it. And I like the museum here. I'm learning about the Vietnamese culture and history.
These museums function that they are repositories for keeping important relics, along with memories of a meddlesome Vietnam nation in the remarkable years of resistance. Plus, these three locations serve as an intriguing trip down the memory lane and are places that inform guests about traditions while also cultivating a sense of patriotism inside tourists. Because of that, if you have the time to stop by this lovely city, be sure to look in on some of our museums to understand more about this country.